It is that time of year that I like to seek out individuals or organizations that go above and beyond the call of duty when it comes to helping folks in need. Um, the individual who's joining me happens to be the founder of the Whitman Area Toy Drive, as they are thriving in their 20th year. Donnie Westhaver is here to chat with us about the organization. Donnie, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing great. And yourself, Kev?
I'm doing okay.
All right.
How did the Whitman Area Toy Drive? How did it all start? If you could jump in the Wayback Machine and give us details.
Well, I can remember it like it was yesterday, and it was 20 years ago. I was down the American Legion. It was Thanksgiving evening, and we were down there getting ready to go to the Whitman Hansford football game the very next day. But on TV, while we're watching the TV, came an ad for the Toys for Tots program for the Marine Corps. Uh, and I guess there was a couple of trailers that had either caught fire or were stolen down in the Cape some years ago. And we were trying to figure out a way to maybe alleviate some of their problems by running our own drive for them at the time. So we did. So we got together that night and we had a couple of raffles. We got 700 and some odd dollars. And then I appealed to the public for toys. So the next following couple of weeks, we got maybe a couple of wash machine boxes full of toys. And then we had approximately 1,200 some odd dollars. So we took the money and we went out and bought toys and we gave it out to the community at large after I found out who some of the families were that needed the help. But then realizing that the Toys for Tots program really didn't have a Marine Reserve Corps unit south of Boston or north of Plymouth, we decided to change it the second year and make it our own. We made it the Whitman Area Toy Drive. So going into the second year, my partners at that time was Jimmy McDonald from Essex Street Storage Shed and Jack Lenosi from Marcello's. They partnered with me to help me out in this endeavor. So they stayed with me for the next 10 years. It got so big after the first few years that we decided to bring it down to the pavilion because we needed a bigger building, in order to house the toys and have some light. We were working out of a flashlight in a box out of the storage shed there for the first few years, so that should be a little dramatic. So here we are going into the 20th year now, and instead of 2 tables, we're up to 50 tables of 10-foot tables from the floor to the ceiling with toys every year. We were lucky enough to have the support system that we have every year that we can raise the funds and the toys in order to take care of the community. Including the food pantries, families, and anybody else throughout Whitman and even the Tri-Town area for that matter.
When do you start getting ready each year? Because I know that it's evolved into a year-round event, but there's a certain time of year that you actually go into Christmas mode.
Right. Well, I guess technically November 1st, even though you're right, we do it all year long. If somebody in the summertime says, I got toys for your Christmas drive coming up this year, we'll grab that and we'll throw it into a trailer, and store it away until we're ready to set up. And our setup is usually just before Thanksgiving. In the past, as you all know, we've had 75. Actually, last year we had over 100 men, women, and children in the community help us set up for the toy drive. We can set up 50 tables within 15 to 20 minutes. And it's an incredible undertaking. But this year, because of COVID, we weren't able to do that. We couldn't have the crowds, for that social distancing, if you will. So we've been doing it with a few of us, 10 or 12 of us here and there the last few days to the point where we're pretty much set up. The difference this year, again, because of COVID, is we're not allowing the families to come in and pick the toys out themselves. So what do? We appeal to the families to give us a wish list. So we look at the wish list. We're able to pick the toys off the tables ourselves, package them up, and we're going to have a drive-by drop-off, curbside pickup, if you will, right at the pavilion on Saturdays and Sundays. We have so many families now, it's hard to even give you a number, if I was to give you a number. But they're coming fast and furious. COVID has put a strain on a lot of people this year, not just the people that are having a hard time trying to make ends meet, but people that have been out of work since March, since the whole COVID thing started. So we year after year we appeal to the public for that reason. For the people that just don't have the funds to help their kids, And you know as well as I do, Kev, Christmas is for kids. We want them to have something to open up Christmas morning. We want toys under the tree for them, and this is how we do it. Uh, we get out there and do the best we can.
Again, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Donnie Westhaver. He is with the Whitman Area Toy Drive, enjoying its 20th year. Interesting enough, this is a community effort. I know that there have been times in the past prior to COVID, you would put out boxes in different businesses. I
Right.
know that the police department and fire department have gotten involved with, stuffing a cruiser.
Sure.
How important is the community in the success the toy drive has seen?
Probably the most important factor of the toy drive. Without the community, we just couldn't do what we do. I would be the last person to tell anybody, Kevin, that we take credit for giving the toys to these children. We're the outlet for these families. We're the outlet for the community to help support us. The stuff at Cruiser is always successful. Going through a 6th year, we stuffed 9 cruisers front to back this year, which gave us a ton of toys. The Northeast Savings Bank just gave us a huge amount of money, because they believe in us, and they know we're a 501c3, so we're a nonprofit organization. So they helped us out, and the community. And I also ran a Venmo account this year. I really didn't have a Venmo account for the toy drive. We just appealed, and they either send a check to myself or my partner Jane Plas, or sent it to Rockland Trust where we have our account. So the Venmo has been very helpful. That supported us quite a bit this year so far. So if you take into consideration, because of COVID, again, it seems like everything we talk about is COVID, COVID, COVID. And it stopped us from having our annual toll road this year, which netted us $3,500 annually every year. So we didn't have that. The VFW, the Legion, KSC, Mothers Club, all those supporters, those big organizations, civic organizations throughout the town that support us over the years, haven't had their doors open either because of this whole pandemic thing from March on. So there's no funds generated through their meat raffles and their bazaars. So to say that we were hurting a little bit going into this year, we were monetarily, but we've been picked up from a lot of different other organizations this year that were able to support it. Thank God for that, because even tonight, we're going out in the next hour or so. I'll be going out shopping for the 12, 13, and 14. That's where we really hurt every year, for the older kids. When we get toys every year, it's always for the 1 to 10, 11-year-old. That seems to be the area that people concentrate on. So we have to pick up the other end for the 12 to 14s and go out and go shopping for them, because the wish list is quite extensive this year, actually.
It seems as though there's been a few times over the past few years that your organization has been thrown a curveball. This year's curveball is COVID.
Right.
In recent years, I know that you were experiencing your own fight, and
Right.
you had others like Jane Plas and so many others who are part of the toy drive kind of step it up. How, talk to me about being able to endure tough times.
Well, I think the hardest part, if I have to call it hard, is keeping your head in the game, Kevin. I had to do it because one of my loves is the toy drive. And when I had my surgery 3 years ago, that left me paralyzed. The first question a lot of people had is the toy drive still going to continue? I said, hook or by crook, sure it will be. I'm going to do the best I can, and I was able to get down there. I even had the therapist in my Spalding rehab let me out for the day, so I had to come down and meet the people that were setting up the toy drive, because I didn't want to miss that. But Jane Plosby and my partner has really stepped up in the last 8. She joined me 8 years ago, I think now. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know who I would have to lean on other than the public. And then how would it operate? I mean, if you're going to oil a machine, you have to have somebody there to do it. And she was there for me, and she's been there ever since. So between her and my own family and friends and the VFW Legion, there are a ton of people out there. I mean, I could take hours to try to get them all together and tell you who they are, but the public at large helps out tremendously. And they're helping out even now. They want to come down and help out the toy drive. Again, because of social distancing, we have to have, a minimum amount of people, but we'll get it done. We're just going to have to, buckle down and put these toys, this toy list together for these folks, have them come by, like I said, on a curbside type pickup thing, and we'll get it done. It's going to happen. I just love this.
Again, we're speaking with Donnie Westhaver, who is the founder, head elf of the Whitman Area Toy Drive, going 20 years strong. It's resilient as an organization, as it gives back, and it doesn't just give to the town of Whitman, it's Whitman area. And I don't think Donnie and the group have ever said no to a family in need, if in need. And that's not just toys. I believe that there's been other donations that have been given if somebody has needed food for the holiday or other incidentals. I believe, and knowing that we're, the countdown is on and Christmas is mere days away, I'm sure you get all kinds of unique requests other than toys. No?
Yeah, we do. Like I said, the food, for instance, even though the food pantry helps folks out, there are other things that they can't provide because they may not have refrigerators like milk and the likes, and that's what we try to pick up there too. I think some of the money that we get goes into gift cards for Stop and Shop, so we also put that out there. And believe it or not, sometimes people and food, clothes for that matter. It's not just toys. Looking for hats, coats, and mittens, so we try to provide that also. And if we can't, again, that's where some of the gift cards come into play for Kohl's and Target and Walmart and the likes. So, yeah, it goes out there. And the other part of the organization, obviously, is the Whitman Wheels of Disabled Veterans and Citizens.
Right.
Sometimes people ask for beds, believe it or not, medical beds because of somebody sick during the holidays. So we also provide that. So we're pretty multifaceted when it comes to things like that. And it winds up becoming a year-round thing now, Kevin, not just for the holidays. So if there's a need there and we can provide it, we will.
As again, as they said, it's Christmas. The countdown is on. It's mere days away. I mean, what's the latest that you would take a request? I mean, would you take a request right up until Christmas Eve if needed, or do you hope that folks will at least RSVP a lot sooner?
Yeah, well, yes, on all accounts, we do hope that they'll request sooner. Have we done it right up to Christmas Eve? Yes. As a matter of fact, I even went to a house one day on Christmas Day because they had nothing, and we just brought a whole box of toys down. Had a friend of mine get in the Santa outfit and drop it off for the kids, and that was it. I mean, it was only one time that actually happened on Christmas Day, but it did happen, and we did it. We will go up to Christmas Eve if possible. We even accept donations right up to Christmas Day and all year long. But because the good thing about going into the holidays, especially now with the toy drive, we're able to go into it earlier because we have more toys given to us right up to Christmas week, which allows us to store them away in a trailer and start the Christmas season off in November rather than the second week in December like we used to years ago. So there's a lot of good things that happen too, as far as the toy drive is concerned. So that's how we basically operate.
Anything I haven't asked you in regards to the toy drive, but you feel is kind of important to share with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, some people have said to me, how can there be that many people hurting? How can there be that many people that you take care of, And how do you know if they're legitimate or not? Well, I guess the short answer is you don't, but you do, because it's the churches, the police and fire, the schools, the food pantries. They're going through them. They're the ones that actually are appealing to us to help these people in need. If there's people out there that don't qualify or enjoy the fruits of the food pantry, they'll look online for the toy drives that are out there. And a lot of them are so humble they don't want to ask, but when they do ask, it's because they're really hurting and they want to make sure that the kids have something for Christmas. So we try to vet them the best way we can, and 95% of them we know are legitimate. And if there's 5% out there that are asking for help that we may not know if they're in true need or not, we don't know that, but then it's 5%. But I don't think any organization can honestly say that. Can honestly say that somebody is in trouble and they need this help. So we're there to help them. We do the best we can. for what we have. And generally, what we do is we don't just give them one toy. Kevin, as you all know, in the past, we've given them 3, 4, 5 toys for each child. We try to make their Christmas from start to finish, which means if they don't have a tree, we'll give them either a real tree or an artificial tree with lights and bulbs, whole works. We'll give them the wrapping paper and the tape so they can tape up and wrap up these gifts for the children, because we give it to them unwrapped so they'll see what they're getting. So we do the best we can from start to finish to make everybody's holiday what it is. It's Christmas. It's the season of giving, and that's what we're here for. And without the community again and everybody else that helps us out, we wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm proud of that.
For the folks who don't understand, what do you guys get out? What do you get out of doing this year after year? What do you get?
Satisfaction in knowing that we help the people. I mean, I sleep very well in December, for knowing that we've helped these people out and helped these families out. And we don't take a dime for ourselves. Every dollar, every toy we get goes out to the community. It's totally a volunteer basis. We've been doing it again now, like I said, for 20 years. And hope to God we can do it for another 20 years. If I'm gone in the future, somebody else is going to pick up. I just know with the fan base and with the base that we have of volunteers, that it's going to continue year after year after year. Hopefully, there'll be years that we don't have to have this much of a hassle or this much of a problem with people being in need. But there's always going to be people in need, and we're always going to be there to help them.
My last question to you, Donnie, is if folks want to find out more information about the Whitman Area Toy Drive, how can they find out more information, and how can they help?
Well, they can go on Facebook. They can. We have a Whitman Area Toy Drive site right on there. They can go on my site, Donnie Westhaver, and they can message me, and they can friend me, and they can see all our undertakings, because we try to be as transparent as possible every day to let people know how we're doing with the toy drive. They can call Jane Ploss. She's also on there. I have a lot of helpers that are with us. Obviously, I don't have all their phone numbers, but there's a ton of people out there, and I will put them down later on if people need to know that. But again, myself, Jane Ploss, they can call the fire department or police department. They can call the churches and the schools. They all know who we are and how to get in touch with us. So there's several ways they can contact us, Kevin, if they truly need help for the holidays.
Dan, I want to thank you and all the good people like Jane and others who have worked tirelessly to make sure others have something during the holiday season. We wish you continued success as you finish out your 20th year and hopefully into your 21st year.
Definitely. There'll definitely be a 21st. And hopefully I'll be around for it too, Kevin. I hope we'll be doing this again.
Well, that's all the time that we have here on CrossTalk. Thank you very much for tuning in. And until next time, have yourself a good day, Merry Christmas, and Happy Holidays.